Good evening. We're finishing up on this here. I got B&C jacks in here. I drilled them out. I put the jacks in here and I calibrated it, and thanks to Jim Asbell, the low coil, which is right here, took care of it. So when you adjust the low end of the band, everything else falls into place. The only one that's off quite a bit is band E right here, and that could be that air coil, that one underneath. I'm not going to move it now because there's a B plus on this here, and it sparked a couple of times on the chassis. Now I got 21 megacycles on the on here. Can hear it. It's very touchy. Modulation works. 21 megacycles. Right on this scale here with my fingers pointing. So it's damn close. I checked all the ranges on this. With the exception of band E, I'm not too worried about that. Band E would be 35 to 120 megacycles right here. Like I say, we're not worried about it. Now, on the low band, the IF, when you set it to 456, she's very close. It's 456.74. It's close enough. I adjusted it so that the center scale is right, and it's off on each end, but I'm not worried about that. So let me show you inside what I did. I added the coupling cap, made the changes. We're shutting this down now, and we'll shut the Kenwood off here. Okay, I got the mount in, the heavy-duty mount from Doug. It came in today. I got to the post office at 4 p.m. I've been busy with doctors. My wife had some blood work done, and I had the eye doctor. The eye doctor did not dilate my eyes, so I was able to get back in here and work. Everything's good. No changes. Still got the macular hole, but in over 10 years it has not gotten bigger and it has not gotten smaller. Okay, so anyways, here's what I did. It's a .01 right here, going from here to the BNC to the center conductor of this. And you're probably wondering where the resistor is. The resistor's right here. Now, it's still a carbon comp, one of them roundies there, but it reads 2.3 megohms. And I still say the schematic's wrong because the schematic says 1.8 megohms. I corrected it to 2.2. So what I did is I soldered it. I didn't like to put it on the ground of the electrolytic, but I tried soldering where it is soldered on the chassis here. I cannot. I cannot solder to a chassis. I tried tacking it onto the top of the braid with the... It just would not take, and my iron was up to full heat. So I brought it over here. It shouldn't matter. You know, you do have a hum loop sometimes, but I don't think that's a problem. It seems to be just fine. So I'm going to finish up on this project. I'm going to get this in, and then the next thing I'll work on will be this radio. We'll put this in. But I got to make a bracket. I figured I can do that with out in the outside. It's going to be cold. We're starting to get cold weather now. But I can make a little piece of galvanized piece I cut out here and drill and mount it in here. And it's smaller. The dimensions are smaller. Like I asked Doug to make it a little smaller so I can wrap my things around the bottom here the little tabs on the output transformer. So this radio will definitely be the next project that I'm going to be working on. It's going to be part 12, and we are going to finish it. Okay, now on this, I made the changes. B and C, the capacitor that was in here, it calls for a 0.01. And what was in here is a 0.05. This is your RF output. So that molded cap, it's around here somewhere. Here it is. This is the one that was in there. It's an 05. It don't belong in there, but obviously it's not original. So I save it. It's got a little short leads on it, but I'm sure it's good. I'll run it to a capacitor check and a voltage check in the future here. So I didn't disturb these. It's a pin jack. This is supposed to be the preamp output. Probably won't use it, but we'll just leave it there. Now on the high end, the band E, I can probably make the adjustment here by squeezing these together. There is a tap on this, but it is not slug tuned like the schematic shows. So that's what threw me off. But I adjusted the coil here, which has the most turns, which is the low frequency. I was going to do that, but when Jim dropped a comment about it and saying adjust it, I figured I had nothing to lose, and I had to turn it a few times and get it down there. So now all the dials are pretty much on. So it's doing good. So as you can see, I put a 0.01, this happens to be a 630 volt cap in there, and it's pretty neat. I think it is anyways. So we're ready to button this thing up. The power transformer, which is right here, is quite warm. But I'm still only drawing 100 mils, so I'm not worried about it. And then I was tempted to maybe add a fuse to it, but the only way I'm going to be able to do it, I don't want to cut in the back of the cabinet here and put a fuse in. You got this apron here that comes down. Well, actually that comes up there, so it's really not in the way. I could chop a hole here, but I'm not going to do that. I could add a fuse inside. I might still do that. But we're not going to close it up now. I'll do that off camera. But I think I can tweak up the high end, and that won't mess up the low end at all. Because essentially the coils, I think, are in series. So it's way off quite a bit. So I think that could be the problem. Of course, I don't know about the tap, but it's not a kit, so I'm sure it was done right. But you can see it is not a slug-tuned coil. I didn't think it would be anyways. So, and that's it. Modulation works. I tried it on the low bands. You can hear it in the radio. I did not put a scope on it. But now that it makes it a lot simpler now with BNCs, I really did not want to drill out the rivets, but it was all metal, and I had no choice. I had to do that. So I figured I'd just throw this up there. I'm making a lot of videos lately, am I? Sure am. So we'll get this closed up, and we'll get on to the start of part number 12 on this radio, which is going to be the finished part. And if I ever get the right speaker, well, I may bring it out and do that on video, but that may not ever happen. So that's what I did here. So as I said, the resistor has been moved off and put onto the grid here of the can't remember the number of that tube now, but anyways, it's up on there so that the grid sees the resistor. I figured I'd move it down onto the grid rather than have it here and just have a lot of clunky stuff just hanging in midair. Having this capacitor up like that isn't too bad, I don't think. Okay, that concludes. We'll turn you around here. That concludes the video on the accurate Model 153 signal generator, signal tracer. So we'll put it back in the case, and we'll call this one done. Thanks for watching.